In Arsenal's quest to strengthen their midfield, Youri Tielemans has emerged as one of their main summer transfer targets. With just 1 year left on his Leicester contract, Edu Gaspar deep in negotiations, let's find out today how close the Gunners are to completing a deal. Have Arsenal made an official bid for Gabriel Jesus? Is Yves Bissouma a serious transfer target? And is Bukayo Saka set for a brand new contract? Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Fabrizio and welcome back to your boys channel. I hope you guys are doing amazing. Make sure to smash a like on the video if you enjoy. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. 1,000 away from the big 90k. You guys and your support is gargantuan. But let's get into the Arsenal news, and starting off, let's talk Youri Tielemans. According to Fabrizio Romano, he is one of Arsenal's standout transfer targets for the central midfield in this summer transfer window, and with the quality of the player kept in mind, the experience in the Premier League and the price tag, I have no surprises to hear that Arsenal have genuine interest, and for myself, I like a lot of things about Youri Tielemans. But in terms of the player himself, when speaking about his future, he says, "I feel very good at Leicester. I give everything for the club until the last day. But of course you have to listen to other opportunities. You have to look at your career, and sometimes you have to make choices." With that quote there, what Youri Tielemans is basically saying is, look, thank you very much Leicester, I love the fan base, I love the club, but it's basically time to move on. And with the length of contract kept in mind, the price tag we're talking here is rumoured to be around £25 million, and in my opinion, I think that is an absolute bargain. But interest aside, what else are Arsenal doing, and how close are they on potentially completing a transfer? Well, according to the reliable Matt Law of the Daily Telegraph, Arsenal are hopeful of concluding a deal for Youri Tielemans. The player wanted to join a Champions League club, but is believed to be ready to join Arsenal despite having to settle for Europa League football. It looks like Youri Tielemans is very intrigued by the project of Arsenal Football Club working alongside Mikel Arteta. It seems like he understands that playing in that 4-3-3 as that number 8, we are not far off the Champions League whatsoever, and for me next year, with the investment that Arsenal are going to make in this summer transfer window, I fully expect Arsenal to make the Champions League and progress past that as well. Even according to Charles Watt, he says that Arsenal feel like they are in a good position when it comes to Youri Tielemans. It's just going to be a case of trying to get this deal done, get it over the line once he's done with international duty. There seems to be a lot of confidence around Arsenal right now that they will complete the signing of Youri Tielemans, and there is a good reason behind that. They know it's a transfer that they can afford, they know that they can attract the player, and can certainly afford his wages as well. But in terms of making an actual offer, well, according to Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal will make contact with Leicester very soon for Youri Tielemans. Tielemans has been busy with Belgium on international duties, but now with that set to come to a close, it is prime time to get a transfer over the line, and it will be just in time for the start of pre-season. But the one thing that Arsenal fans have their concern over is the fact that he isn't the most physical profile when it comes to defensive work, and apparently he can't run. Well, let's bust that myth straight away. This is a player that in the 2020-21 season ranked second in terms of ball recoveries by midfielders, ahead of the likes of Declan Rice and Yves Bissouma. And in terms of his ability to cover distance, well, in the last season, Tielemans ranked as the 5th most distance covered out of any other players in the league. Despite him clearly being able to win the ball back, Arsenal are not signing Tielemans to play as a defensive-minded midfielder. He's not going to be our Thomas Partey. The primary reason for Arsenal signing a player of this profile is to dominate games of football. Teams that have the extra technical ability to dominate the games, and when you have the ball, not only are you able to attack more, but you also do not have to defend as much either. Keeping it on the potential midfielders, according to the Express, Arsenal have been offered hope in their pursuit of Man City's Alexander Zinchenko, with Pep Guardiola's side unlikely to block a potential move for the Ukraine star. I don't think that Arsenal would have any issues in signing Alexander Zinchenko, who wouldn't be too expensive, and I think if we were to offer him a lucrative contract, I think this is a very doable transfer, and in many ways it does make a lot of sense. Alongside Youri Tielemans, signing Zinchenko not only gives Arsenal an extra option potentially in midfield, but you're also getting the perfect inverted left back with experience of winning Premier League titles. But in terms of a more defense-minded midfield signing, what about Brighton's Yves Bissouma? Well, according to Calcio Mercato in Italy, Arsenal are closing in on the Brighton midfielder Yves Bissouma. The source itself isn't the most reliable, and the fact that an Italian source is linking a Brighton player to Arsenal is a bit dodgy. But the whole point behind this is, with 1 year left on his contract, a player that's not going to be too expensive, we're talking £25-30 million, he has dominated some big games, and up against teams like Tottenham and Liverpool, he's put in some man of the match performances and shown to all the Premier League managers that he has some high quality in the bank. But there is one big issue with Bissouma, and that is as things stand, he still has that court case looming over his head. But in spite of that, I think Arsenal still need to sign a number 6 type of profile to provide cover for a Thomas Partey when he inevitably gets injured or suspended. But my question to you guys is, who is that number 6 type of profile midfielder that Arsenal should be signing? From the midfield to the attack, let's talk Gabriel Jesus. As according to Goal Brazil, Arsenal have made a £42.7 million bid for Gabriel Jesus, but Man City are demanding £51.3 million for his release. If Arsenal have made their first official offer, it confirms that Arsenal are trying to close a deal, and according to Match Law, he confirms that Arsenal have scheduled a new round of talks with Gabriel Jesus. Man City are believed to value Jesus at around £50 million, with Arsenal confident they can strike a deal and match the player's wage demands. The price tag at £50 million in many eyes is pretty hefty, but according to a pretty reliable source in Ben Jacobs, initially Man City wanted £55 million, but Arsenal felt that this was at least £10 million too high. Since then, Man City have softened their stance, and the value has dropped by £10 to £12 million. This is now within Arsenal's financial plan, and City are now ready to accept offers. It is absolutely massive, and dare I even say, Edu Gaspar might have had a negotiations masterclass. It just goes to show that in the transfer market, if you just show a little bit of patience, you can save yourself a decent amount of money. Now, talking about the player himself, according to many reliable sources, he is open to signing for Arsenal Football Club and is eager to link up once again with Mikel Arteta. The wages Arsenal offering is pretty massive, and that should be enough, and as Ben Jacobs confirms, Arsenal can financially afford it. I don't see much in the way of why Arsenal cannot complete this deal and get this over the line ASAP, that being except for a certain Spanish giant in Real Madrid. As according to Anton Mina, if Vinicius gets a Spanish passport, Real Madrid will fully go for Gabriel Jesus. The reason why the passport of Vinicius Jr. is very important is because as things stands, Real Madrid can only have 3 non-EU players, and with those players being Vinicius, Militao and Rodrigo, they can't actually sign a Gabriel Jesus and register him on La Liga terms, and therefore you also have Marca reporting that none of the 3 non-EU players are likely to obtain dual nationality before January 2023, so signing Gabriel Jesus in summer is not possible for Real Madrid. Not only is that passport going to be massive, but on top of that, Fabrizio Romano claims that Gabriel Jesus will leave Man City, but he will stay in the Premier League. Ultimately, Real Madrid can have their interest, but the EU passport holds them back, and in terms of the Premier League, the likes of Chelsea and Tottenham have their interest, but it seems like Arsenal have progressed the deal pretty far. Moving on to the future of Bukayo Saka, the Arsenal star boy, the Arsenal number 7 and Arsenal's standout player in the 2021-22 season officially, as Arsenal confirmed that Bukayo Saka has won the Player of the Season award. First place with 58% of the votes, second was Martin Odegaard, and third Aaron Ramsdale. In the process, Saka becomes the first Arsenal player to retain the Player of the Season award since Thierry Henry in 2004, and only the 4th player to win the trophy back-to-back after Henry, Ian Wright and Liam Brady. 3 of Arsenal's all-time greatest players, and they are now joined by Bukayo Saka. And fingers crossed, as long as he remains at Arsenal for the long-term future, helps Arsenal get back to the top and wins a fair few trophies. Potentially one day Bukayo might also be an Arsenal legend. But that is a long time away, and as things stands, Bukayo has 2 years left on his Arsenal contract. Him being 20 years of age, getting 11 goals and 7 assists and setting such a high standard. There is no surprise to hear that according to Adrian Kajumba, Manchester City have stepped up their interest in Bukayo Saka and are now closely monitoring developments regarding his future, though any move this summer is currently considered unlikely. Man City want to sign our star boy, and I'm not surprised because of course Man City signed the creme de la creme, and that is exactly what Bukayo Saka is, and in many ways it's a compliment to see that. But apart from the complimentary interest, in terms of them actually signing the player, Arsenal have to respond, and that is exactly the case according to Charles Watts, as he claims that Arsenal are willing to offer Saka a vastly improved deal this summer to make him one of the top earners at the club. And even according to Mark Owen, Arsenal are confident Bukayo Saka will sign a new contract amid transfer interest from Liverpool and Man City. Arsenal are adamant that Saka is going nowhere. But looking into who is is the agent of Bukayo Saka, this guy has a history of longing at contract sagas, of putting out rumoured interest and using the names of other clubs to get his clients a better contract. Now don't get it twisted, I do think Bukayo deserves a far better contract, and in terms of wages, I'm sure he's going to get that. As long as Arsenal stay on course and do get back into the Champions League, become the competitive team that every Arsenal fan desires, I don't see why Bukayo would leave Arsenal. And even according to Fabrizio Romano, he loves the club, he loves the environment, and he loves working with Mikel Arteta. But at the same time, there is a lot of rumoured interest, so for Arsenal's sake, one of our summer priorities has to be to get Bukayo a brand new contract alongside the contracts of Gabriel Martinelli and William Saliba. Arsenal might have some great young players, and yes, the future looks very bright, but now let's make sure it's locked and secured. Talking about wingers, let's talk Serge Gnabry. As ex-Arsenal player Kevin Campbell says, he's obviously a player that Arteta admires. He knows the club, and hitting the ground running, you would not have to worry about that with Gnabry. There are definite legs in it because Gnabry still has Arsenal in him. If the opportunity arises, then wow, he is quality. The key part there is if the opportunity arises, and as things stands, that might just be the case. With him not extending his Bayern contract, they have set a £35 million price tag, and Arsenal could certainly afford that. Ultimately, the player wants massive wages, and with Aubameyang's departure, Lacazette's departure, Arsenal certainly could offer him the contract. As things stand, I think Arsenal are prioritising the likes of Gabriel Jesus and Youri Tielemans. Once those transfers are hopefully over the line, then we're going to have to wait and see if Arsenal make their move for Mr. Serge Gnabry. Moving on to the other Arsenal news today, and starting off with two of the Arsenal star boys on fire for the England under-21s. As against Albania, following Balogun scored 2 goals and one was assisted by Emil Smith-Rowe. Two Arsenal star boys combining is things you absolutely love to see, and in terms of following Balogun, that is now 6 goals in 8 games for the England under-21s. And what you have here is still one of the most bright strikers in world football, but with Eddie Nketiah set to stay, and Arsenal also signing another striker. What does that mean for the future of following Balogun? Well, according to the player, when I get back to Arsenal, I would like to sit down with the manager and see what he thinks, and we will decide what is best. I know that everyone would like to know what I would do next, but I would like to speak to him first and we can come to a conclusion. I do like the profile of this player quite a lot, and I think he has a bright future, hopefully at Arsenal Football Club. And in this next season, as Arsenal get more games with European football, I wouldn't be surprised to see Mikel Arteta keep the player. But ultimately, as we have just seen with William Saliba, loaning out young players and getting them some vital first team experience can further develop them so much, and I think that is the case with following Balogun. Therefore, I think another loan to the Championship, to the Bundesliga, or maybe even a Premier League club wouldn't be the worst of options. Arsenal legend Gilberto Silva says, I understand that we are not on the same level as Manchester City and Liverpool, but as a club, Arsenal must work well to get back to the good times, and I think this is what, as an Arsenal fan, we expect to do for next season. This next season, in many ways, is going to be so gargantuan, because not only for me is it Mikel Arteta's last chance to get things right, get Arsenal into the Champions League and really deliver on its potential, but with the amount of money that Arsenal are now pumping into the first team and the investment that KSE is making, the pressure is certainly on for Arsenal, Edu Gaspar and Mikel Arteta to deliver. And I really do like the Arsenal first team, so on top of that, when you get a first team striker, a first team number 8, and you have that squad depth in left back, right back and central midfield, I do expect Arsenal to make the Champions League and hopefully also win a trophy. But that of course is just my expectations. But what are yours going into next season? Arsenal are looking to invest heavily with the likes of Gabriel Jesus and Youri Tielemans being the main signings. So let me know down below in the comments what are your early predictions going into next season. But that is the video there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed, and if you have, make sure to go down there to smash a like and to also subscribe if you are new. If you would like to follow your boy on all of those social medias, then the links will be down below in the description. But that was today's episode of the Transfers FC. I hope you guys are enjoying the content, and for Arsenal, one day left until the window officially opens. It's time to get busy and time to sign some players. Let's hope they do that, and until then, take care of yourselves in a bit.